Teen Scene. I'm Amber Thomas.
And I'm Cooper Correvo.
And today we're doing a special Teen Scene telethon for Ignatius Ellinger. We're here with Shalik Fulton from Youth Commission.
Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about what you do in the Youth Commission.
Oh, okay. So I'm the chair of the Mayor's Youth Commission. The Youth Commission is basically a mirror image of the Baltimore City Council. It's 14 members at large. We have 3 commissioners that concentrate on things that plague our community, whether it's youth violence prevention, the actual youth violence. I know a commissioner is working on financial literacy, trying to get, and also another one is working on trying to get young people to get out and vote. So that's the type of things that we do. Basically, we're a mirror image of the Baltimore City Council. We work to basically give a voice to the young people that does not have a voice. We also provide recommendation to the mayor, city council president, and different municipal agencies throughout the city.
So what do you personally do in the Youth Commission?
Well, I'm actually the chair. I'm behind making sure that the commission is actually running, the meetings are being ran properly, to make sure that we have representation throughout the city, and just to make sure that the organization is the well-oiled machine that it is.
Okay.
That sounds really great.
It is. It's rewarding.
So can you tell us about the programs you've done?
Also, we have done a slew of programs. Right now, we're gearing up for our Youth Be More Summer Block Party. And the block parties, we basically go into high violence as it relates to young people neighborhoods. We're going to be there from 7 to 10 p.m. at night. We're going to shut down, the particular areas with the mayor's mobile stage. We're going to have local artists, free food, hot dogs, hamburgers, and just to give our youth something positive to be able to come and partake in.
Sounds cool.
I've never heard of the Youth Commission before. Could you tell everyone out there more about it and how they can get involved?
Sure. So if you want to get involved with the Youth Commission, you could personally email me yourself, Shalik.Fulton at BaltimoreCityYouthCommission.org. That's SHALIK.Fulton, FULTON, at Baltimore City Youth Commission, spelled out, .org. And we'll be able to lead you in the right direction. We also have committees. We work out of 4 committees: education, youth violence prevention, health, and recreation and mentoring. That's where the bulk of our work is done, and we're always looking for young people to come, sit in on our meetings to actually find out what we actually do. All our meetings are public. We'll love to welcome you on down to City Hall. We meet every second and fourth Thursday in the month at 6:30 at City Hall.
Can you tell us a few things that you've done exactly for the youth of Baltimore?
Yes, we put on and host what we call youth speak-outs. So we go into each district and we have the mayor's cabinet members or members of their staff as it relates to police department, fire department, any resource that's closely connected to our young people, and give our young people a chance to ask them questions and for them to be able to deliver back on what our young people want and what they need.
That sounds really great.
Like direct democracy.
So I understand you had an event in April. What was that like, and what did you do there?
It was wonderful. We had an opportunity to partner with multiple partners. Dr. Phil Lee from Johns Hopkins University, and he pulled together this brainchild and basically gave it to the Youth Commission. He said, it's April the 4th, the 45th commemoration of Dr. King's assassination. When Dr. King was young, he did a lot of stuff, when he was young. So that basically shaped his career. So we decided to highlight our young professionals throughout the city. So whether it was an entrepreneur, a leader in government, you have your own landscaping business or whatever. We had the opportunity to have Facebook friends to choose individuals to be selected for the award. I believe we highlighted about 18 individuals. And coming up the next year, we want to make this an annual thing. So next year, on April the 4th, we're going to be pulling together a gala. And there we'll be highlighting young organizations that deal with young people. So we definitely want to include you all in on this because this is awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
No problem.
So could you give any of the teens out there any advice on how to get through high school and to start their career later on?
Yes.
And be a part of politics.
All I can say is, young people, please be passionate about what you believe in, stand for it, and just keep pursuing. You have to keep pushing. And I remember when I was in high school and I was sitting in my 11th grade affirmation, and his name was Pastor Barnes, and he had this analogy. He said that he went to the hospital, and on the heart monitor that his grandma was hooked up to, he didn't understand why that line kept going up and down, up and down, up and down. And he asked the doctor, and when the doctor told him what it was for, he said, yeah, that means that your grandmom is living, you know. And I take that, and I channel that to how we live as young people, you know, growing up. If you see that heart monitor, it goes up and down, that represents all the ups and downs and all the challenges that you will face in high school, you know, in your life every single day. And that doesn't mean that you have died, you know, it's not flatline. That means you're living, you know. So as you go through, just keep pushing and keep that positive energy.
That's a nice
Good way to
analogy.
look at it.
That's a great.
I thought it was good too, that's why I used it.
Could you tell kids more about politics and the great things about it?
Yes. So I don't like to call it politics, personally myself. I like to call it a public servant because I plan to be a public servant one day, and have a strong passion for young people. Growing up in the inner city of Baltimore, you know, the challenges I faced, you know, my mom passing away when I was 2 years old, my dad not being there, being raised by my grandmom who was on drugs, you know, and just living in a community stricken by poverty. And I, you know, somehow, you know, made it out. And I made it out through the characteristics that my higher being gave me, and that was leadership. You know, and I started through student government, worked my way up to student government president, then worked my way all the way up to being the president of all student governments for the entire school system, and now I'm here, you know, in the mayor's office as the chair of our youth commission, representing the thousands of young people that make up Baltimore.
Sounds like an amazing story.
Yes.
Amazing story.
So how did you personally deal with peer pressure in school?
By being myself, because ultimately no one cannot make me do anything that I don't wanna, and no one can tell me who I am. You know, my identity lies within me. So, you know, I was strong and I was passionate about something. If I liked the particular shoe I was wearing, if I liked the particular way I was talking, I'm gonna do that because that represents who I am. You know, and I don't want any young person out there to begin to think that, you know, to fit in the in crowd, that I have to change who I really am, you know, to do that. You don't. Be yourself. People will love you for who you are.
Great message.
So do you have any final thoughts?
Yes, my final thoughts is I just want to say that you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thank
Keep
you.
up
you.
the good work, because we need organizations like yourself to highlight, you know, the good that Baltimore's young people are doing. And I just thank you all for the opportunity to come on your show.
Thank you for being here.
Don't forget to call the number on the screen. We'll be back. Hi, welcome back. We're here with Lakeisha Johnson. So, thank you for being here today on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so I work with the Baltimore City Youth Coalition as well, and I'm a person of many hats. So I serve as the public, like a person who really does like a lot of partnerships and special events, and I also chair the Health Committee and the Youth Violence Prevention Committee.
What's it like chairing the Youth Health Committee?
Well, it's pretty cool. Like, I get a chance to, you know, just spend a lot of time with different people. Because, like, a lot of times, typically, when they think about youth, they just think about, like, youth who are always doing, like, bad and negative things, whatever like that. And, you know, quote-unquote delinquents, what they like to call us sometimes also. But it's a pleasure also meeting, you know, people like yourselves and people who are homeless, like homeless youth and disabled youth and LGBTQ youth. It's just a pleasure just to meet everyone and being under one roof, just to, you know, discuss different issues that are plaguing our community, whether it's being obesity or just insecurities that can have like health effects and everything like that. So it's a wonderful and amazing opportunity to chair that committee.
So what have you done here in Baltimore?
So in Baltimore, I've done a lot of things in Baltimore. Sharing with the commission, this is going into my second year, second to third year. I've been a part of the commission, and I've done numerous things. We put on different programs, like Shalik was speaking about earlier with the whole April 4th event. That was one of my babies that I kind of, you know, helped to put together, being a special events coordinator, and that definitely was a success. Many block parties. We do about 12 to 15 on average every summer. And with that also, I work within my district. I'm the 3rd district youth commissioner. And I do a lot of things like going into the schools and just representing the schools and, seeing what the issues are in certain schools and how we can, just come together as a community to uplift our youth, because a lot of times it's a disconnect between the older generations in the community and the younger generation, so trying to bridge that gap. And that's basically what I do, and just working with my council person to overcome these different obstacles that are plaguing our community.
How old were you when you started getting to be a part in the community?
In the community? Well, I've always been in the community just because my mother was a very strong person, just, in church and out of church, and my family, we lived on an Afro clean block, so we always was in our community, scrubbing our steps, making sure that everything was, together with our community. I can communicate with my next door neighbor, so I always had that sense of community with me since I was young.
So how did you get started in the youth council?
So one of my friends told me about the youth commission and said, you should really join the youth commission. And I was like kind of hesitant at first because, because I went to college and I was out of state. I went to Bentley College for Women in Greensboro, North Carolina. And once I came back, he said, "Oh, you're back now, so you can join the commission." And I'm like, So I finally came for a meeting, and ever since then, I've just been a part of the commission. And I just really love it because I always had a strong passion for government and like service, youth. I just love it all.
So thank you for coming here to telethon. Is there anything you think about the telethon, what we're doing today?
I absolutely love everything that you're doing, because not only am I with the Baltimore City Youth Commission, I work with the Downtown Sailing Center. And at the Downtown Sailing Center, we're teaching, many people. Sailing is for everyone, and just being in the midst of like disabled youth and disabled kids and teaching them how to sail, it just brings such a joy to my heart. And I just love the fact that you are putting this on, because it means a lot. So many youth out here are in the same predicament and are not able to raise funds to have transportation back and forth, and it just gives them a sense of pride, and not just that they're just in a situation where they can't really help themselves, but they can move up from this, and just having people who would like to call in and just donate money, it's just an awesome feeling. It's an awesome feeling, and I congratulate all that you're doing, and I hope great success with this telethon.
Can you tell us any advice so we can be empowered to get ready for after high school and teens with peer pressure and stuff like that?
Most definitely. So I would definitely say own it. I mean, because if you don't own what you say or you don't own what you do, then it's basically, pointless. So you have to own everything you say. When someone is talking to you, speak up, because then you won't have to actually dwell into like the whole peer pressure, because you know what you stand for. Just like Shalique said, you have to stand for something, and you have to be able to just upfront and just say like, this is what I am, this is who I am, I believe that I'm this way. Do not just tend to go off for what people think they want to have, because at the end of the day, it's so many copies out here, but you're the only original. I'm the only Lakeisha Johnson, even though other people have my name. But however, I'm the only Lakeisha Johnson, and I own that. I own everything that I do. Take opportunities. That's my biggest thing. Since middle school, I was a part of, I went to Roland Park. And since Roland Park and being in the ingenuity program, I was owning everything. I took for granted every opportunity that there was out there. So when I went into high school, I had so many opportunities. And that's when I actually got my passion for politics and government and public servicing, because I was in the ingenuity, which is science and math based. I didn't have that opportunity. But coming into high school, I was invited to study at Yale University. I was a debater, went to Harvard, numerous things, went to across seas to India. I took opportunities by the bootstraps, and I said, I'm going to do this is what I want. And so it's really important just to take opportunities, but it starts from owning everything that you do and everything that you say.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
It's really. Is there any way that we can get in contact with you in the commission?
Most definitely. So you can email me personally at lakeisha.johnson@thebaltimorecityouthcommission.org, which is LAKEISHA.johnson@baltimorecityouthcommission.org. You can follow us on Facebook at the Baltimore City Youth Commission, Twitter, Be More City YC, and also on Instagram. So you can even just Google search us and we'll pop up.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you for coming
to
to the show.
Thank you for having me. So actually, we have a meeting coming up next Thursday. So we have meetings every second and fourth Thursday. So this actually is our second Thursday of the month. you all can almost, can come down. We're at City Hall, it's a public building, just have ID. We have a committee meeting beginning at 5:30, which is actually my committee meeting, so you'll be able to sit in on my meeting to see what we're doing and what we're up to with that. And also, immediately following after that, we have our general body meeting at 6:30. So from 5:30 to 6:30 and 6:30 until.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Teen Single.
We're gonna give you a little cheer right now.
When you're smiling, oh, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, oh, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, just keep laughing, 'cause sun will shine right through. But when you're crying, you bring down the rain, so stop that crying. Be happy again. 'Cause when you're smiling, oh, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. Holy moly goly.
You're watching the Teen Scene Telethon.
Yeah. Alright, is everyone supposed to say yeah?
Life is but a stream. That's the one. All right, everybody. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
I can hum.
So if you want to get involved with telethon, you got to work hard and row that boat, right, kids?
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Yeah!
You know what the real song is? Throw the person overboard and listen to him scream.
So joining us now is Congresswoman Helen Bentley. Welcome to the show.
And I'm glad to be here.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, or did.
What I did, well, I was a journalist first. And almost immediately when I came to Baltimore, I was put on what we call the beat to cover the waterfront. And I'm still at the waterfront. And that was a long time ago, I can tell you. I grew very fascinated with shipping and with trade and all that it represented in the world and all that it represented to the economy of the state of Maryland. And even though I've been in different capacities, I still come back to the Port of Baltimore. No, actually, it was in the very early days of television.
Oh, I know.
1950.
So what television show were you on?
I had my own show called Port the Built City and State on WMAR.
What happened to that? Like, what was it about?
I did it for 15 years on industries in Maryland that were linked to shipping, to trade, and tied into the Port of Baltimore. And every year I did about 35 shows, Sunday afternoons at 5 o'clock. So I had a very good time. The hour was right.
What made you want to do the show?
Because I felt it important that the people in Maryland should know more about the Port of Baltimore. And that's why I did it. And it was those days it was all black and white. And when we went into color, because of the higher cost of color, I didn't even try to venture into it. I didn't know whether I could get sponsors, and I felt 15 years was a long siege.
Can you tell us your favorite thing about your show?
What was that?
Can you tell us your favorite thing about your show?
The favorite thing about the show was that I learned so much about the economic foundation that made the state of Maryland, and actually made the United States of America. because it is trade. Trade is what created this country to where it is today, and that's why trade, even now, is a major issue between all nations.
So are a lot of things imported in the Port of Baltimore?
Probably everything you have on today
Really?
has been imported, and everything he has on today, and everything you have on today, and everything you have on today, and what I have on. Yes, our clothes. And that's, I get very uptight about that issue because I don't like to see manufacturing disappear from the United States of America because that means we lose a lot of jobs. But at the same time, we do have to face the fact that we need to improve conditions in the countries that are just coming up. We have to give them opportunities, and so we have to buy from them. So we hurt ourselves industrially, except that America has so many geniuses, and we keep coming up with higher tech and other innovative ways to do things. Now, what's on the books, and this is not, there's no publicity on this, but what's on the books, speaking of higher tech, is what's known as 3D shipping. And instead of this pair of pants being made in Ceylon and then shipped over, they're going to do three-dimensional over the air. I'm not a high-tech person, so they're going to transmit here the size and the style, and they will be made here. That's the future.
Is that going to be beneficial or?
Well, that's yet to be. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal just this week that said that General Electric and Ford Motor Company and Mattel, which makes the Barbie dolls, are already involved in doing this. Ford is doing components for their cars. I forget what GE is doing, but I know the Barbie doll is now becoming a 3D production.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here on the show and all that you did for the telethon. Can you tell us more that you did?
Well, the reason for our telethon is so we can raise funds for the young man to have a vehicle in which a wheelchair can be pushed up. And the vehicle is out there, the kind that can happen to. And that is Norris Honda. They do both Fords and Honda. That's Norris Honda in Dundalk. They've been kind enough to cooperate, and they want to help in every way they can to make a new vehicle for the wonderful young man as soon as possible.
It's very kind of you to partake in this whole telethon.
Yes. I'm glad to do it. Loretto, when she gets on your back about an issue, she doesn't let go.
Well, thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I understand that you're on the honorary board for the Maryland Women's Heritage Center.
Yes, I have been.
What do you think the importance of this center is?
I'm one who is very fond of history. And I think for our future, we need to know what happened behind us. And that is history. And too many people overlook the importance of history. And the Heritage Center is history. It is the history of how the women in the state of Maryland have been leaders and how they have accomplished things despite the fact that there were no easy ways for them to accomplish that. We had to work our way to open the doors for the women. And now this young lady and this young lady and that young lady and these two are going to have it a lot easier. That's what Heritage is
Thank
all
you for all
about.
you did.
Yeah, thank you.
Let me add to that, young man. When I was being considered for a position by President Nixon in Washington, the first position I wanted was Maritime Administrator, which meant it was public relations for the American Merchant Marine. I didn't get it because a labor leader felt he couldn't control me. Okay. The next one was the Assistant Secretary for Transportation in the Department of Transportation for Communications. And then the Secretary of Transportation said a woman can't handle that job. And I was very angry and because I knew Washington very well by then, and I certainly knew communications. But John Volpe said a woman can't handle. He had to fire the man he hired 3 months later. And then when the chairmanship of the Federal Maritime Commission came up, there was a commission seat and the chairman's seat. And they offered me the commission seat. And I told them no. I want the chairmanship or nothing. Well, that's been promised to a man in Warren, Ohio. I said, the man in Warren, Ohio has never been around a ship. How can you give it to him? He doesn't know anything about shipping. I knew shipping. And this was a political battle. And it was finally because the White House got word that the press was going to get on this story about the man in Ohio versus me. And so I was offered the chairmanship. And I took it.
Thank you for being on the show today. It's so glad to hear about your story and everything. And thank you, Norris Honda, for donating. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Winnie Ellinger. I'm Ignatius's mom, and I want to thank everyone for coming today and helping us try to raise funds for an accessible van for Ignatius. A lot of people are wondering why there are certain organizations that we haven't contacted. We have contacted a lot of organizations, and Ignatius is not eligible. I'll give you an example. The Virginia Department Brain Injury Fund only gives money to families who have a brain injury due to doctor or nurse negligence at birth. And that doesn't apply to Ignatius. He was born with a disability. It wasn't anyone's negligence, just the beautiful way that God made him. So this is, in a lot of places that we have contacted, he's not eligible for funds through them. And so we're trying to raise funds through the Ignatius Ellinger Fund to get an accessible van to take him to all of his activities and appointments. And thank you all for helping.
So that's all for the teen scene today. I'm Cooper Carevo,
And I'm Robert Thomas.
and we will see you next time.